In the quiet town of Vancouver, where secrets whispered among the shadows cast long and ominous, a chilling mystery began to unfold. It was a year ago when the captivating mind behind the light-hearted mockumentary Our Gods Are Real, director Brian Clement, vanished without a trace.
So I met Brian almost 20 years ago, and we've had a really long and interesting friendship, and we've worked on a ton of creative projects. Most recently, our feature film, Our Gods Are Real. Our Gods Are Real is a feature film Brian and I made, loosely based on our webcomic Ghost Cats, but kind of focusing as a mockumentary on cults. It was a lot of fun, kind of stressful, and most of our friends were in the movie, so that part was great. After filming wrapped, Brian was headed back to Toronto. I took him to the airport on July 12th, and I thought he might need a couple weeks break after all the intense work we've done, but I haven't heard anything from him since I dropped him at the airport, and that's really not like him.
As the curtains fell on the final scenes of his unconventional masterpiece, little did the cast and crew know that the real enigma was about to unfold.
He was pretty intimidating. He was always sort of in charge of things, running shows, playing in a band, definitely higher on the food chain than I was.
As the camera stopped rolling and the last echoes of action faded into the silence of an abandoned set, the enigmatic director had left no trace behind.
Sorry, she hasn't really been the same since he's gone missing.
One figure emerged from the shadows, determined to unravel the truth. Aaron Westendorf, the producer and star of Our Gods Are Real. With an air of relentless determination, Erin began her own investigation, driven by an unshakable belief that there was more to Brian's disappearance than met the eye.
No one seems to be taking me seriously that something's going on, and so I have to take things into my own hands and figure out what happened to Brian.
I'm Chloe. I'm friends with Brian and Aaron, and I played Chloe in Our Gods Are Real.
Hi, my name's Rob Hunt. I was the DOP, or Director of Photography, on Our Gods Are Real.
I'm Steve. In this movie, I was a man of many hats, whereas Brian was like a man of many masks.
I'm Daley Asher Nelson, 1988 to 2099, and then again in 2106 to 2242.
My name is Maitha. I am a student at UBC. I'm graduating in May 27th.
My name is Al.
I'm Sam.
I'm Meredith Fraser, and I helped out on Our Gods Are Real. I work in film doing set deck and set painting.
I was mostly set bitch. Like, I made a bunch of stuff and climbed a lot of ladders, but I would say that I was just generally very helpful and had many tools.
I got covered in baby oil, in lingerie. I was a
You're the baby
sex
oil,
cultist.
you were the baby oil expert.
Yeah, and then, I was a vampire as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was a vampire for a little bit.
I played Officer Perry, a mustachioed police detective who's trying to investigate cult-like activities in and around his jurisdiction, sometimes outside of it. Sometimes outside the means of the law, because whatever it takes to get the job done, Officer Perry will do it, and that's probably why he's divorced. I think so. I mean, as the world's third greatest detective, it was kind of interesting to step into the shoes of a much less kind of competent and involved detective.
I think we're a little too concerned. I think maybe the more important part is the feeling and the presence that Brian imparts on us, and not Brian himself.
Daley, do you have any theories as to Brian's disappearance?
Several. And I think together, if we team up on this, we can find out what actually happened to Brian.
You'd want to work with me?
You tell me. Because I think there's some more Officer Perry left in me, and we're going to find out exactly where Brian went.
After I started talking to our friends about theories of what happened to Brian, I realized I was way in over my head, and I'm really glad that Daley stepped up to help me, because I definitely couldn't do it on my own.
What had transpired after the camera stopped rolling? Was the line between reality and fiction blurred in the mind of the director? Or had the captivating narrative of Our Gods Are Real manifested into an unexpected reality of its own. As we embark on this journey to unravel the truth, we delve into the heart of the mystery that shrouds the man who dared to challenge the boundary of storytelling and left behind a void in the world that he so artfully created.
Just when I think I'm out.
Back in.
Bad cop.
Dad cop.
May not have a mustache and partial custody of my daughter, but I'll do my best to find out what happened to Brian.
Has anybody considered that he's spontaneously evaporated?
Well, I don't really know what happened, but there's this like crazy rumor going around set with Brian really likes tactical vests. Like if you watch the movie, there's a lot of tactical vests in the movie, and you know, some people around set kind of said that maybe it was like a sex thing for him, and you know, he's kind of an entrepreneurial kind of guy, and so some people have been saying that maybe he's trying to sell the vest as like a sex thing on Shark's Den or something.
Well, I think it's aliens.
It really could be aliens.
It could be aliens. Usually things are. Well, my cousin got abducted once. And like, Brian hangs out in fields sometimes.
You know, I wish I knew. Sometimes I wonder, you know, he's an athlete. He could have been playing softball in a bad neighborhood.
No, in fact, I celebrate it. If he's chosen to abandon us and live a new life, then, you know, I would definitely advocate for that, you know. Like, this is a Hollywood thing, and, you know, plastic surgery isn't out of the question.
He seems like the type to just leave everyone in his life, lock himself in his house, and start a garden. He's got a very zen vibe to him. It's all the tattoos and like the perfect hair. And I don't know, I think he, you know, has 8 different types of heirloom tomatoes, and he makes a salad every night, and it has to be organic. Brian
was working on some new editing techniques to work on this movie, and I think that he was basically weightlifting and editing at the same time, and I think that maybe he just ascended to a higher plane of existence, like the halls of Broden and the Temple of Iron, and where the benches are always free and the squats are low. But maybe that's just my way of coping with the fact that he was probably kidnapped and murdered by a cult while researching the sequel to Our Gods Are Real.
We do have one last interview to conduct. We're going to talk to Maida today, and hopefully she gives us some information that kind of ties it all together, but well, I'm not hopeful at this point.
You know what? We just seem to have one last interview. But what are the chances it's groundbreaking?
Yeah, actually, July 13th, one of my best friend's birthdays is on July 13th, and she lives like in the West End, so I was down here for that. And I saw Brian actually cycling down Sunset Beach wearing the most ridiculous it looked like a costume. It's horrible. Anyway, he looked awful. I hope he's doing okay. Like, I hope he's not going through something.
We just talked to Maida, and she gave us some information which is kind of blowing this case wide open. She said that she saw Brian in town the day after I took him to the airport.
And after she told us that, off the record, she told me that she saw Rob seeing Brian. I know it's a lot of he said, she said, he saw, she saw, but if we take her at her word, this is illuminating.
It means that we might not be able to trust Rob as much as we thought.
Time to look into Rob.
How did you meet Brian?
I met Brian in the Dark Ages, back when he was directing the meat market movies in Victoria, BC.
Hey everybody, my name's Rob. I went on a road trip across Canada. We started in Vancouver, and then we drove all the way across the country. Stopped and saw a bunch of monuments, took a lot of
Unsettling whispers emerged, casting a shadow over the once unbreakable bond between the visionary director and his longtime friend, Rob Hunt, the man behind the lens. Known for capturing the essence of Brian's insane vision, he now found himself thrust into the unforgiving spotlight of suspicion.
My background with Our Gods Are Real is, I think a lot of the ideas for the movie were created while me and Brian were traveling across Canada on our road trips, visiting asylums and other abandoned weird places.
Some pointed fingers at the green-eyed monster of jealousy, insinuating that Rob, although an integral part of the creative process, may have harbored resentment towards Brian. Was it the acclaim showered upon Brian's storytelling prowess, or the envy of his chiseled physique that fueled this alleged jealousy, driving Rob into madness?
And I got some peanut butter whiskey, and I was like, hey, let's go inside and drink my peanut butter whiskey. Wah, wah, oh, don't worry, I wasn't driving when I was doing that. And then,
So we looked into Rob.
It turns out a lot of people have heard rumors about him being jealous of Brian. Jealous of his muscles, jealous of his talent, jealous of his beard, maybe all three.
So when we get to the bottom of this, you think what I'm thinking?
Sting.
Oh yeah, undercover op. We can take these labs of Rob's that we borrowed for these segments and use them as the wire.
We just have to find a way to get him to talk to us.
He wouldn't talk to us.
No. But you know who he would talk to?
Oh.
His girlfriend, Nikki.
Yeah. Time to go undercover.
Nice.
Sting. Snail.
We're in Rob's garage.
Lockpicks and skill points.
Yes. We have Rob's mics that we can use to
The
wire him.
wire.
Yeah. We have the blonde wig to entrap him. So I think we're good to go.
Yeah. Now we have to pick him up in about 20 minutes.
Hey.
Hi, Robbie, baby.
Daly, why are you wearing a blonde wig and driving my girlfriend's car?
What? Because I am your girlfriend, silly, and this is totally my authentic real hair, and I don't even know who this Paley is. Oh, you.
What are you doing?
I'm just here to pick you up, Daddy, and also, I just really, really want to know the truth about what happened to Brian.
You can't handle the truth, Daly. But if you really want to know, I'll tell you.
As Erin walks the thin line between reality and fiction, she faces the unsettling realization that the answer she seeks may be darker and more elusive than any script could ever foretold. Rob revealed to Daly that while filming Our Gods Are Real, Brian had uncovered an ancient eldritch terror lurking beneath the surface of everyday life. After pretending to fly out to Vancouver, Brian, Rob, and Steve went to the source of this arcane darkness. Brian stayed behind, but at what cost? In sealing the portal, he had also sealed his fate.
Wow.
Huh.
I would never have believed that this would be how it would resolve.
But we have to believe it. We saw a reenactment.
Yeah, it means it's true.
Yeah, narrated by the father of ecstatic truth.
Yeah, not the accountant's truth.
No. Speaking of accounting, I kind of regret now not getting this in. But as far as theories go, I actually had money.
No.
I didn't make it to my bookie, but right there.
Fuck off.
I know, right?
You could be so rich right now.
Do you know how much money that would have been?
Probably more than I can count.
I could have bought a zoo.
That's
Good job, another case.
Case closed.
Yeah.
Where's Brian? I am Brian.
The source of Steve's derangement now made clear, with the trauma he endured witnessing Brian's harrowing sacrifice. Also explained were the bizarre glowing objects discovered by Erin and Daly during the course of their investigations into the props department.
I just hope wherever hell dimension he lives now, there's a gym, there's unlimited tofu dogs. He can watch as many horror movies as he wants. I miss you, Brian.
Brian, if you're seeing this, just come home. Lulu misses her big buddy.
Stay alive and I will find you in my unyielding hunger for justice.
She's into new sensations, new kicks in the candlelight. She's got a new addiction for every day and night. She'll make you take your clothes off and go dancing in the rain. She'll make you live her crazy life, but she'll take away your pain. Let me pull it to your brain. Come on, upside, inside out, living the vida loca. You'll pull push and pull you down, living the vida loca.